All right, it's time to get started. So let's see. Last time we had some gears on our Oculus mechanism and we 3D printed them and it actually worked, which is always a nice little uh, perk. All right, need to manage my windows. I feel like the grasshopper window is a lot smaller than it usually is. Although maybe I'm just really used to working with a big one. All right, let's see here. Yeah, and I added a little models so we could plug the little oculi wings into something. But that thickness there is a reasonable size to 3D print. So I'm just going to hide that for now. All right. So I got a tip off that this is not the best way to actually do gears. If we're going to be on like a curved surface, it would be better to have radial gears. So I'm going to do in Grasshopper, special folders, components. Let's see, where's that open up? All right, so for reference, when we open up the special folder in Grasshopper, we get to our plugins folder. This has all of the plugins that I have installed. Let's see, I need to pull up my window that actually has the plugin page. All right. So on Grasshopper, there's a good number of plugins. I think that's one of the big reasons people use Rhino in the first place is it has a lot of plugins, and also Grasshopper, it's a pretty advanced parametric modeling software that also has a lot of user-made plugins, so it's pretty versatile. And so I was looking on Food for Rhino, which is I guess you'd say the official page where you get a lot of these things from. And there's 3 different plugins. Let's see, I'll drag it over. We got Rhino gears, we got gear from Circle, and then just the gear plugin. And they all look like they do the same thing. And that's a bit of a confusing place to be in. Because supposedly each of these plugins works with a different amount of inputs. I know Gear from Circle, what you're giving it is a pair of circles, and from there it generates the actual gears. Whereas other gears might have different ways of defining how to use them. And I haven't done my homework, so admittedly, I'm not actually sure which one to use. But let's take a look. Yeah, of these two, Gear and Rhino gears are the ones that have been voted on the most. So they're probably the more popular ones. And just looking, the main thing is if they both make bevel gears. That's what we want. We want a bevel gear. And if we can get that, we are set. Let's see. Create a bevel gear surface with specific cone angle. I'm not sure I want the cone. That's not a bad one, though. Where's input circles? Huh. I think I might just download them both off screen real quick. Because I kind of like both of them. They have different perks. Like with the bevel gear. Oh. Let's hope have I forgotten my password? I really hope not. Nope. Okay. So that's always fun. But yeah, so the big difference, we got cones on one. Oh, it's because that's not my email. Okay. There we go. All right. So as I was saying before, I forgot my passwords, which is always fun. If we generate it from a cone, it means we have a little more control of the angle. I'm not sure if the circles want to be exactly 90 degrees or if they can be a little more like 60 degrees, because we are kind of putting them on a circle, so it's not exactly a 90-degree joint, which is why we want the bevel gears. Whereas right now with what we have, while these teeth, like, the teeth on these gears work. They work okay. But every time we, like, rotate it, the gear tooth basically wants to be torn off, and that's no bueno. So we are going to download a few plugins, and we'll download them both, and we'll just like see what happens. Let's try that again. Just got an error on the download for Rhino gears. Okay, because it comes with a whole installer, which is a little weird. But we now have ghgear_0 in our libraries. We can then just... Where's our grasshopper? If we just take that out... Nope. ghgear. Drop that down. What have we got? That's nice to see. Well then, I guess we have the answer of which one we're using. We're going to use the one that actually downloaded. Question is, where did it go to? Let's see here. So it wasn't ghgear0. Was it just gear? I'm actually not sure where it plugged itself in at. And if we open this up, yeah, we don't see more pieces. That's fun. Let's see, gear, food for Rhino. Well, it wants us to restart Rhino and Grasshopper. Huh. Ha ha ha. I wonder if it's something with the Grasshopper version, because what I'm using right now is Rhino version 5, and Rhino 5 is not actually the current version. There's Rhino 6, which shipped with its own version of Grasshopper, whereas usually you have to download Grasshopper as a side thing. So I'm thinking it might not be the right version. I would check out with like the versions released. Aha. There we go. Just reinstalled that real quick. And what we're going to do, we're just going to restart it. Then we're going to reopen Rhino. Home or shield. And let's see if that worked, because 14 minutes of work on this and so far no progress. But we'll see. It'll be good if this plugin works. You'll notice as I type in the command, it auto-completes, which is another nice feature of Grasshopper. Yep, that's still broken, but that is fine. We're not going to be using that plugin if it doesn't work. So if we double click and type like gear, no. Okay, in that case, I might just try downloading the old version. Yeah, because this has user objects in it. That's not usually the file type you're looking for. So it is a little weird. Usually we'd want that like green grasshopper file type, but here I'll show you that what we're getting is like this orange grasshopper user component instead of a grasshopper plugin. But I think we can just open our special components, and then let's just like drop these guys in. And then if we drop these into the grasshopper area, what happens? Well, it did a loading thing for a while, so that's a certain amount of promising. Aha! And look at that, we got gears. Now the question is, where's this stored? Because usually you'd be able to find like the name of the plugin in its own little, like, I don't know, drop-down file, I guess. Let's see, did it play? It wouldn't place itself in an existing one, I imagine. That's a little weird. Okay, it's put itself in users, so I guess it doesn't count itself as a plugin. It counts more as if I just made these, I guess. Which is weird, but okay. We want bevel gears the same depth. Gear depth. Okay. I think we do want both to be the same depth, because then they have the same amount of coverage on the... Okay, so let's see. Same depth, okay. Ooh, that's a lot of variables. That's a lot of variables. Although, to be fair, a lot of them have predetermined values, predefined values that we can, like, swap around if we don't like them. Alright, so let's do some 3D modeling for a bit. So we have Sorry, Grasshopper, but you have to be a small window for a bit. Here's what we'll do. Span that out. Okay. Right now we have this here. We have like our old gears. The gear teeth are actually ooh, that's messy. I can't remember when I made these. I think it was pretty late. But that is messy. Man. Okay, so we have gear curve we don't want. We want just our circle here. So let's see. Okay, so we have our exterior sphere, interior sphere. We want the nice little circle that we had on the outside of those curves. Because if we can get those circles... Ooh, another question is, are these circles interior or exterior? Let's just see how it generates these. Okay, so it's generating everything as curves. This one's highlighted. Okay, let's do some testing. Don't want to snap to circle. We just want to snap to like intersection. There we go. There we go. So now if we deselect that, you can see we have some gears. They're just like offset at an angle from each other. So let's see what this can actually do. Now we're going to move that to the side. Let's see. We want a circle, and we are going to set one circle. Okay. And then what it's doing is it has a predefined like point that's doing everything on. So I think somewhere we can find the radius and angle that that's operating off of. Okay. So what if instead... Didn't quite set the same circle, but what happens there? Okay, so that's interesting. It takes one circle, and from there, it generates the gears. And the angle's all built in here, so we can probably reverse engineer the angle that we actually need. So if we just like mess with this, okay, so messing with that just moves the actual location of the gear compared to the base circle. Elevation angle, maybe? How did that break it? No. Oh, it's so weird looking at this thing. Okay, let's change its values. So it can be set to a max of like 180. 179, because at 180 degrees, it's not really a bevel gear. It's just like a normal two-dimensional gear. Okay, yeah, that lets us adjust that, which is pretty handy. Okay, I kind of regret like having the circle up here now. There we go. Okay, there is a point where the math just kind of breaks. So don't go like below. Yeah, don't go below 90, I guess is the rule here. So we'll set that as our minimum. That way the slider can't go into the really broken range. Okay. So we have that. This is fun to play with. Can kind of adjust its position a little bit. Okay, teeth number. That's something that's okay, so it's defined based on the circle that we give it. That's way too many. Currently our gear just has like 4 teeth. I have it in front of me. I can just look at it. Yeah, it has 4 teeth, but it takes up like not quite half of the circle. So I think base of 10 is probably like it's workable. Pressure angle. Addendum. Just let me add more gears. I have no idea what this lets me do. Okay, so you can like control how far out. Okay. So it's a proportion of the teeth to the yeah, I don't like that. Actually, set this to 2. Then this should let us go up to double the proportion with our... Okay, yeah, no, that breaks. So we don't do that. We're not going to mess with that. Actually, but what about the dedendum? Does this let us subtract? No, I can't tell what that does. Hole pattern, don't think we need to worry about that. Depth. This is the... Okay, so I think currently our units are in, I want to say millimeters. 7 millimeters deep. That's 3D printable. It's pretty shallow, but I think it should be good enough. Okay, so with this in mind, I think we can go back to our main model if we can grab those circles. Let me just go back to searching frantically for these circles. And just remembering that this is the final geometry. Okay, so I know we do grab these curves here. These are being grabbed from where we like cut the circle. So let's trace this wire. circle. Cool. So from here, we should be able to find our original circle, right? Yeah, there we go. So we'll make a geometry. Circles are going to go into there. Rename this circles. And we need to scale it up. I think I'm going to just have a new workspace towards the bottom here. But we're still going to have this whole scaling operation. Copy that, except it's not going to be scaling this curve up anymore. It's going to be scaling these curves up. Going to add that to this group, and now look at that. Scale it up, and if we can see all of our geometries, then these circles are equivalent to... Okay, well, I guess they can't be seen because they have red geometry overlapping, but this this circle here is equivalent to one that's right about there. Again, if we just kind of flicker it on and off, you can see that. I think we're also going to show our reference sphere here because it's helpful. However, if we are getting rid of our gears, and we want to just flick that off, yeah. Admittedly, it's technically just breaking the rest of this code. However, it's like, it gets the job done. So, we now have our circle, and I think we can just grab these over here and shimmy them over. In this case, base circle. Clicks in there. Let's turn this thing's visibility on. Did Grasshopper like that? It's not outputting a circle. It is reading the circle at least. Let's see. Ah, that'll do it. Grabbing the wrong circle, so it's not actually scaled up. What about now? It's not happy. Maybe it only wants one circle. In case we're grabbing a dispatched, which splits it up into two signals. Okay, it seems to be able to read those. It just might... Here, let's try one last thing before we go that way. Graft. Okay, that... Yeah, that's slightly broken. So let's not do that. Turn off the graft. The graft does is it takes your input and we need to flip the circle. It takes your inputs and makes every single one an individual tree, and that's a whole thing. Interesting. We'll just have to see how this goes. Maybe if I set the depth to like... Because we have... Okay, I know somewhere we have the thickness of our shell. It's the distance between the inside and outside circle. So that should be somewhere. Okay, cool. So if I just grab like... Guess we might have to do some math to get an actual distance. Kinda hope not. Okay, well, we might have to, unless I can find something that does like good old pi r squared reverse. Okay. Alright, guess we might have to actually grab that individually, which kinda sucks. Although, if we have the ratio here... It's scaled up by a factor of 1.522. If we get the radius, I think we should just be able to apply that factor and get the difference. Because sphere A is equal to sphere A's radius is equal to sphere B's radius times this factor. So it's feasible if we can just grab one of their radii. Is radius a thing? Nope. Can we analyze a sphere? That would be in... In our meshes, no, not meshes, because it's a solid. So what is that? Some vector surface? Well, there's the classic bounding box, which gives you the length of a side of a bounding box around a sphere is equivalent to the sphere's diameter. So it's a little roundabout. Thing is, I know I did this somewhere else in this code, but we're just gonna do it again. Because it would be real nice to have this. Let's see, we probably grabbed it from before it's scaled. Yeah, here we go. So, exterior sphere. Something, okay, no, we don't want to evaluate the box. Box properties, maybe? What does that give us? Center point. Diagonal vector, area, volume, degeneracy. Well, if we do box corners, it's not a small component, but it'll get us what we want. So here, I'm just gonna shimmy this down here. Our display hidden, just to clean this up. So now we have 2 points. And that distance gives us distance between 2 points. So if A and B are next to each other, which we can check with grabbing a point component, plugging in A, B, we highlight it. Sorry, oh, we didn't select it. Here we go. When we select it, yeah, what do you know? Distance between A and B gives us our diameter. then I'm just gonna... I feel like I already did a lot of this. Well, at the very least, I can grab the number we made. So let's grab number. Shimmy that on down here. This is our factor to divide by. So what we're going to do is we have our distance. So this is our radius. Our diameter. And then we want to divide this diameter. Actually, the factor should be the same regardless. So I think just a division A divided by B gives us that doesn't seem right. It's a factor, so we don't want to divide one by the other. That's too small of a number. Okay, let's do some thinking here. I might see if I can grab a piece of paper to just jot this all down on, because that doesn't seem like a bad idea right now. Or here, let's open up our good friend Paint. Oh, that's a big window. It's a really big window. Scale that down. Okay. It's a little bigger. All right, because we have here circle A. Circle B times our factor, which I'm just going to call F, equals B. So it should just be B divided by the factor to get A. Yeah. But then why is it outputting such a small number? Because so let's see, if we hide all this, if we hide that too. Yeah, like that depth is minuscule. What if... It's a little jank. Divided by our factor gives us this. That times that is large. So that is our diameter. I feel like I'm overthinking something, but I'm not too sure what. And hello, viewer. Welcome to me trying to figure out math and geometry. Which is always fun. I find that geometry is like... It's something you learn in high school, and you don't really think too much about it, and then all of a sudden you find yourself trying to model some gears and trying to just get a thickness, but then just... You have to try to remember all of that geometry that you learned. I found myself using trig a lot. I don't know why, but like, it seemed pretty simple when I learned it in school, but then as soon as you try to like actually use it for something practical, I don't know, there's just something different about it. It's like you have to go back and relearn it, but then probably it's also something with the programs it's in. It's not like I'm sitting down and doing like a trig worksheet on paper. I'm either doing it via code, or in this case, through Grasshopper and this giant script here. And so you're working with another interface, so there's something with it being like just a little bit different than the way you learned it that makes it so hard to go back to. Here's a question. If I just make a panel, say 7. Yeah, 7's too high. What about 2? Yeah, our goal is right around 2. Is this number just the thickness? I think I just... All right. We don't need any of that. Don't need any of this. No math needed. I just needed to know what I was doing. And yeah, look at that. So if we make this... Can we... Yeah, expression x times -1. Make it a negative. Does the... No. Gear doesn't like negative number. Let's take that out then. Okay. Because the current curvature of the gear is not the curvature of the circle. So maybe... Can we make the elevation like negative? Also, yeah, I'm not sure what this depth is doing. Our elevation angle seems to be ripping that gear apart. Yeah, and that geometry there doesn't look correct. Looks like something's messed up. Okay, well, let's see. Is there something where I can define, like, I guess not the rotation or the depth, but some other way to rotate this thing? So that goes around the gear. Pressure angle, surface on. Okay, so that's the radius of the other circle, which does not need to be 25. We can probably have it be less than 10, even. Hopefully that makes it a little easier. Oh, this poor gear is just mangled. Oh, look at it. That's horrifying. Okay. Then maybe... give it more space. How large does this need to be at a maximum? Okay, it's just inherently broken. It's not even like because of me. Oh, this poor gear is so broken. If I give it the other circle, does that make it happier? No, no, it does not. It does not at all. That is unfortunate. Yeah, the gears just aren't happy. Okay, if 180 is flat, we just want to not go 365. Perhaps if we set the maximum at 270. Oh, it breaks. These are just not happy campers. It's working fairly well earlier, too. Yeah, something's not happy. Something's very unhappy. What could it be? What could it be? Alright, what do I need to unplug for it to be happy? It might just be an issue of scale, or it's too small. Okay, here's an idea. Instead of worrying about the thing here, what we're going to do is we're going to mirror it. Plane, can we just input? Look at that. That works. So now we're going to worry about this. I just want to scale this circle. Ooh, not what I wanted. Okay, we'll just keep that plugged in there then, and we'll make another scale. Because we want it to scale from its center. So we're just going to scale it again. I think area will give us the centroid of our sphere, which then goes in here. Geometry to scale is our host scale, host flip circles. And then that geometry will be dispatched. No. Wrong point. New point. Okay, so that was a mistake. We want the scaled geometries centroid. The flip geometry centroid. That'll go into our scale and dispatch. Yeah, there we go. That's looking good. That's the way we want it to be. Though it's still pretty small, because I guess we haven't given it a scale factor. So let's see. We want it to be at least 1. Okay, there we go. So let's just scale this on up. Ah, this is probably where we get the addendum, dedendum. Oh, I'm not sure what the dedendum does, but I know what the addendum does, kind of. Makes the thing closer to a sphere. And it broke. Yeah, something's a little dodgy. Let's see, where do we want this gear to make landfall? About 60 degrees. Now we want to change the elevation angle. Oh, that looks so bad. Is it something about the mirror that's off? Are there so many objects? It's a little wacky. This thing isn't even happy if we give it more radius. Just seems really keen on generating that one specific circle. Can we open this up? Yeah, let's... Oh, geez. Digital A I E O U. Whoever you are, good sir, I appreciate what you've made. But this is a mess, mate. I don't want to look at that. How do I get out? Just gonna turn to parent. Oh, jeez. This looked like a really promising plugin, but something is not happy at all. And up. It's flying. Oh, because it's mirrored from the other one. Plug that in there and plug that in there. There we go. Still not very happy. Thing is, that looks okay. Level curve? Level surface goes in there. Just feed it random radius for now. Bevel curve. Is that the gear? I'm honestly not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's like... Something about this math is breaking, and I'm not sure what it is. All I know is that if you don't connect things, it can work. Let's see, what do we not need? We don't really care about the position in degrees. That can be whatever. Let's test some random spin values. We're going to just set this between 0 and 360 degrees. Okay, so less than 90 breaks, as we've seen in the past. So that's a good hard minimum to set. It breaks over 180 degrees. Let's take out the flip, see what that does. Yeah, we don't need the flip because we have the mirror. That's probably a good place to start. Let's see. Okay, what I'm gonna do, grab a new bevel gear. Not gonna have equal depth. Base circle, depth. Yeah, this is borked. This whole thing is surprisingly borked. That looks close to something, you know what? I don't know why it's trying to match like teeth on both sides of the thing. That is a little weird. Pressure angles for something once we get it working. Will the addendum help? No. No, the addendum will not help. I feel like we just need a panel that just has like a nice low number on it for debugging purposes. Let's try depth of 3. Happier with that? Did I kill the plugin? I feel like I did. look at that. They work so nicely. But something about this base circle. I wonder if there's any, like, hard numbers here. Let's see. Okay, 360 and 10. That could be anything. That's like pretty average. There are also like 2 Python scripts. So I really like the effect when you have a Python window, how it like, whoa, look at those lines. That's cool. I like it. Yeah, I don't see any hard numbers here. So question remains. Why does this circle break it so hard? It's 32 millimeters. 4 millimeter radius. Well, to be fair, if you plug in 4 millimeters to the elevation circle radius, that does break it. Breaks pretty hard. Let's see. What other things can we do? Wondering if it's a scale thing. Like, if we built this thing at 10 times scale and then scaled the solid down, maybe you would like that? Just gonna say expression x times 10. Yeah, look at that. Okay, it just works. Then, okay, I guess we plug that in that way and then mirror it. Just gonna plug in the circles. Yeah, like that might work. If we okay. Okay. So then what we need to do is after this mirror, we need a .1 would be dividing by 10. Center of the geometry is our centroid from over here. That didn't work. That didn't work. All right, I'll be right back and we'll get back to it. All right, we're back. We have broken gears. And the question is why? I wonder if it's the center of this thing. When it's shrinking down, it doesn't like that. Although it's perfectly happy here. Unless this circle isn't actually what I think I'm grabbing. There we go. That's what it is. Just grabbing one per. Yeah, so this can't go directly in. Taking output A. Cool. That's that issue solved. It's kind of a weird one, but I guess somewhere the numbers just didn't like being that small. All right, so depth can be this. Then we need to multiply that by 10. X times 10. Cool, that's that. Let's see, position. We can edit that now, I think. I hope. Should be 60. Roughly. Kinda susses this rotation, though. So you don't want the gear to impact, although we'll have control over that, I guess. This is a pretty smooth opening. Okay. So that works. I don't know, like 60 isn't bad. We could set it to like 80, but we also want this to not be too chonky. Elevation angle. Could probably eyeball this. Doesn't have to be perfectly tangent with like the sphere, as long as it's like good enough. If we really wanted to, we could do the math and figure that out, but I am not actually keen on that. Alright, so next bit. We have our depth, that's good. Teeth number. That'll be fun. Let's try 10. That doesn't look bad, but I think we'd be better with fewer. That's about what we have right now. Main thing is at scale, we could probably get away with this much. What's our current circle radius? 48? This one doesn't actually matter too much. So for now, let's hard code in. Man, it does not like that elevation circle radius changing. Does that actually accept an input? I'll take 40. bet it's a thing with like having to fit the gears in. Try 30. Just wants a slider. Well, it'll accept that, which is something. I'll take progress. Still a very small gear. Like, the gears I currently have 3D printed, they're not big by any means. But that just feels too small. Okay, if I give it more teeth, we'll let the thing get bigger. Answer is yes. Oh, look at that. It'll automatically calculate the number of teeth. That's handy. So the teeth number is like a little more of a suggestion. Cool, well, that size gear, still very small, but I'll take it. Now there's like no way that intersects, but just making sure. Okay. Pressure angle. I think, honestly, 22.5, it's not bad. I don't know too much about the pressure angle. It's misspelled. Has 3 S's. Anyways, so let's try like a slider for 20. Let's mess with the pressure angle. That'll just change like the teeth and their shape. Yeah, so maybe 23 degrees pressure angle. Kind of bothers me that like the rotation isn't automatically accounted for on this. So here's the thing. We have those gears there. The next thing we're going to need is like an orbital gear. So like if we have a big ring around this entire unit, we want that to be able to interface with these same gears. So it's more of a gear train, really. However, that's a tough one. It's a doozy. I think we want this angle here to be as horizontal as possible. Probably help when I make gears solid. Okay, let's see. What's gear outputting? Okay, so let's... Unless do I still have the component? Cool. Solid bevel gear. So bevel curve. Now here's a question. Can we put both of them? Two circles. Keep that all the same. Yeah, no, it didn't like that. What about when we grafted it? Cool beans. One at a time, then. Solid. Level surface. Can this just be lofted? No, I'm kind of interested to see how this command works. Surface. Two objects from there. Guess the surface just isn't doing anything. Bit of shame, but then if we loft, will it work? Feel it. Feel like we're close. Feel like we're so close. Couldn't find it. Yeah, those are probably outputting false. Okay, well, are these not planar? I guess they would be bevel, wouldn't they? Just the data bevel curve. Give that a number. Will output anything. Feel like I need to actually research how this thing works. All right. Oh, cool. Face tracking's back. It just shows it as working. Okay. Yeah, that's not planar, so Cap wouldn't be able to work there. Because that's the kind of shape it makes. Quite the puzzle. Jeez, this gear just feels like it's going to be so small. And I mean, that's because it is. It's going to be real small. Like, I think at its current size, might be only half an inch across. That's pretty tiny. Half an inch is pretty small. Although these shouldn't be like really big bevels too. This is pretty tame. If I can get this to be like flat on the bottom, that would be very nice. Okay, cool. I think that's the best that's gonna get. Have all this. Squish that down a bit. Yeah, this is tricky. Yeah, there's a way to do this that's very janky, and that's to extend the loft lines and then make basically a shell using our sphere. We have an interior and an exterior sphere. We can kind of make a shell. That's the difference between the two. It's also how we got the extrusion like distance here, this thickness. It's tricky. Get that to like not intersect the thing as it opens and closes. It's almost too close for comfort, but I mean, if it works, that would make that gear larger and thus harder to lose, and more material when printing is just like, it's just good practice. Still about verticals, that's fine. Well, I wonder how we can do this by hand, so to speak. What's this bevel curve? Like, you'd imagine that would just be from the gear component. It's not circle. It's not teeth. I'm guessing that's not it either. I feel like something's broken in here. Like, it's not actually lofting anything. Go back to the releases. Fixed bevel gear, helical gear, ratchet inside pawl. Yeah, I'm not sure. If we really wanted, we could go inside like the data cluster and edit it, but I'm not really feeling that. Wonder what we can do with this. Two surfaces. Cap only does things in a planar manner. Those are exporting curves. Yeah, that's too many points to work. Sweep wouldn't do anything in this case. Just give us what we've lofted. Yeah, that's like making surfaces out of a grid of curves. It's got me stumped. I wonder if there's a way to like reverse engineer as if the curve has been projected onto a surface to find the surface. I don't know why, but today's a very quiet, tired day. surf through 7 points. No, that's not quite it. Now that could work. Maybe. Okay, so tween curve. Create a tween between two curves. Do have is our circles. Right? Picking up data, right? Does a loft create a surface if you... Oh, wonder if that would work. What we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the loft. And we're going to have our explode tree give us a 0 and a 1. That curve 0 is... Alright, what we want to do is flip matrix. So that now two closed curves. Can we... No. No, it doesn't like that. Okay. Cool. That's not what I wanted to do. That's fine, though. These two. Those two circles. If I just like... No, that's fine. That's fine. Just loft. So each of these has 4 objects. What I'm going to do, take these, I'm going to explode them. Now we can access all 8 of our individual curves. Pull out our curve. Makes that monstrosity. So if we organize it, because right now we just want 2 and 2. Did I weave it? 0, 0, 0, and 0, 1. So we want 0, 2, 0, 3 grouped together. So we get our merge. Wait a second. That's still not reasonable. Okay. Okay. Take each of these and if we scale the circles from their centroids. Oh. Don't want to lose my script right here. Haha. Then these explode our tree again. Oops, there we go. Build again. Now, what's each of these? Merge that with that. That technically creates a surface. Parameters on the circle at the least, but I think it's going to need more than that. Let's maybe not do it that way. Worst part though is that like that's almost a good solid. It's so close. It's so close. I mean, like we are almost there. It's just a real mess of things. Which means I also don't need the tween curve because that's kind of what I was thinking of doing. I worked it out with this instead. What are these merges? Don't want to see them for now. Try to do things a little more organized. These are our interior circles. They're good circles. They'll serve us well. Zero and 1. If we don't flatten, what happens if we just plug A into B? Nothing. Is there like an order that these have to be fed into? So we want disconnect this entire loft. Okay, so we want it to go from A to B to C to D. That would do it if you grabbed the wrong one. That's... that's... It's not better. It's not better. Although it is nice to note the weave is doing something, I guess. That's also pretty close. That actually almost looks correct. That looks good. That actually looks okay. Yeah. It looks super jank. But if we, you know what? I just saw something that I think just makes everything I was talking about earlier just work. without any of this. That do anything? Ooh. Loud failed, didn't know why. It's an interesting little error. Whereas I bet if I did something like okay, maybe this isn't so bad then. Although I do need another loft. Nope. We want B rep join. It's close to B rep. Do I need to like... Can I reparameterize these circles? No, that just changed the parameter from 0 to 1. Not quite what I'm looking for. Yeah, no, I'm gonna make that a panel. Now, if I bake this geometry, do we get something that looks reasonable? It's like... That's kind of beautiful. Be better to rebuild it with fewer bits, but like that there is... I kind of just want to like marvel at it. That's nice. Where do we scale these? Actually, let's see, what did I set this arbitrary diameter to be? Radius of 2. Wow, look at that. Saving so hard. So we got 1. And now, we need the second. So this time goes 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, negative 165 seems to be on the money. So we want it to be between this and this here. Progress. Seven still feels like a good number for that. I can just do like negative x. Okay, the second one is negative x. It's just x. And does that gear intersect this flap? Oh. So we'd be rotating just 3 teeth? Yeah, it'd really just be those 3. Although it looks like that's the only 3 we actually, like, need. Yeah, so I wonder if I can delete that. So in intersect, is there like solid intersection? Yeah, maybe that's not the way to do it. Then 2. Okay, let's see here. Let's try this again. Then solve intersection. Okay, so you're doing a rotation. It'd actually be the size, be proportional to the size of the circle. If you like. If we do something like that, go through this real slowly. Rotates too fast. Actually, I could just do length. Yeah, that's not what I want to do, I think. There we go. I wonder if the teeth would still be proportional. I kind of doubt it. And it would rotate slower. Small number divided by big number. That's pretty nice. kind of want to render this out to a GIF. Just look at that. It's like really all the pressure's on one tooth of the gear. So the next thing is a big ol' orbiting gear. Actually, first we should probably add like the posts. Vector. This is a pickle. Seems so easy too, you know? Which makes me think. Oh, that's what it was. God, this is an absolute mess. I can't say I'm taking too much pride in it. Okay, now if I go back here, I have to fiddle with the elevation angle more, which is just gonna break it. Actually, that's not bad. I might just leave it at that. It rolled a really good starting position. Or I guess position for the slider to stop. Something like that. Might do 53. Yeah, look at that. Of course, that's only on a one side so far. Haha. I wonder how much of this is just like plug and paste. Like, you know what? There's another way to do this. A more painless way that I've used before. And just like that, almost like a miracle, it's on both sides. Well, there's some good progress already. Now, what would be really nice if is would what would be really nice it would be if I could figure out this orbital gear around it, so it could be 3D printable. I wonder if I could use another gear component and basically, like, kind of reverse engineer the the first gears that it generated. Now, I don't think it can do an orbit gear. Also, wait a second. We want this to fully open with a source 90-degree rotation, right? Go back. Okay, I'm gonna follow this tooth right there. That's not a 90-degree rotation. That's like a 45-degree rotation. Keep that 7, lest it break. However, I think will have to happen is the radius will have to change. We'll just let that chug for a bit. Huh? I should have locked the solver before I undid. Okay, let's lock the solver. We'll run the solver once. Okay. Just gonna leave this panel here as a reminder of what it was. Cool. Cool, that killed it. Just a little bit. Okay, maybe somewhere else I can, where there's actually room for a large transition gear, we can have that. Is there an XY plane visible? Found you. Okay. I like it so far. I'm liking it so far. Okay. Now for a brainstorm. It's like if I could kind of build it myself, similar to how I did the other one, which, by the way, generate gear cutouts. I think you are old news. Those are still important. Spent about 3 hours getting these gears to work. Sounds about right. It's impressive how over-engineered something that could have been. Like, if we didn't want any of these moving parts, this whole thing probably could have been modeled in like a day. Probably could have been modeled in the amount of time I've spent working on just these gears today. But it's just what it is, I guess. Also, I guess the orbital gear doesn't actually need that many teeth. It just needs, like, enough teeth. I wonder if you could basically build, like, a ball bearing. Hold on, let's see. Not that. Here we go. Now we want center. Give it like some clearance. think what we'll do is we will bake these two circles. Okay, we want to like in our curves till you can split curve. Yeah, that's what we want. It's not spline division. It's our planar, right? Yeah. Those do sit flat. Just something seems off about them. Oh, I see. I see. This will still help us, though. give that some time to chug, because I bet this is gonna take a bit. Okay, first we're gonna lock this, because we don't want that to be 5. We want it to be like 3. 3 mils. Also, I feel like it's gonna want more teeth. Now I need to grab the caps somewhere. It's those caps. 99 naked edges. Oh, that's not good. Huh. Okay, let's see. That's good. No naked no non-manifold. Speaking of which, that's also good. It's also good for the gear. Fingers crossed it works. Come on. You got this. You got this. Come on. Come on. No, it failed. Okay. What about these two? Just go nice and slow and do a good job. That's what I want you to do right now. Huh? 6 naked edges. Huh? Huh? Um. Come on, Boolean. Come on. Oh. Nope. Wait to that. Impressive. I mean, that looks like a good solid, apparently. That's going to be a problem later. And what we do is cylinder. The Boolean? Boolean failed. It's a valid polysurface. It's closed. There we go. Paste that in. Look at them parts. Go save the Rhino file to be safe. I think I'm gonna snip this and call that a stream. Alrighty. So that is that. Alrighty, and yeah, we are going to call it here for today. So that was hopefully a good bit of progress. We got some gears. We might even be able to get it to rotate with this very improvised gear. But I will see if I can get these 3D printed.